this I found fascinating. The government, I mean, literally, a day in the life of Rishi Sunak. I wonder if he ever literally regrets the day that he put his hat in the ring for this job, because not a day goes by without yet another problem, so it seems. But anyway, the government is now facing legal action over the use of Wethersfield Air Base, this is obviously in Essex, to house the migrants there. The charity, you guessed it, Care for Calais, says that this airbase has actually become a de facto prison camp. They go on to say they're talking about the population, the migrant population, being segregated from the locals. They're saying that the base has got security fences, is monitored 24/7 by on-site security guards and CCTV. They say there's no pavements on the road around the sites and no public transport. They say that this kind of segregation is basically likely, their words, not mine, likely to lead to the migrant stigmatisation, degradation and loss of dignity. He said people have told the charity, those people living there say that they feel like they are being imprisoned.
I have never read so much tosh in my life. No surprise that this is in the Guardian newspaper. The legal challenge has been launched by Care for Calais, as you've just said, accusing the government of segregation by nationality, i.e. racism. That one again. It's like, no, it's segregation because they're asylum seekers and they have to be put somewhere, and we can't afford to carry on paying £7 million a day for hotels, so we have to put them somewhere. What do people want to do with them? Look, obviously, in an ideal world, we sort the asylum system out so people aren't held too long in any place before their asylum applications are processed. But this is ridiculous. And, you know, the fact there's barbed wires around the place. Yeah, because that was an army base. It was to stop people getting in, not to stop getting people out. I mean, they can get out, they can walk out. They're not in prison. It's a ridiculous story. It really is. And
so you're not having any of it?
No, not at all.
Yeah, look, I mean, the asylum system is just such a mess, isn't it? I mean, the key thing is we need to get the asylum cases processed so much faster. You know, I looked the figures up yesterday. It's we are basically, we in Ireland take about 20 months on average. In Austria, it's 3, and in most countries, it's 6 in Europe. And, of course, they all use former army bases in Germany and other countries, which people like Care for Calais, you'd think, would be very pro. So I just think it's a daft challenge. It is absolutely wrong that we're keeping people because the taxpayers are paying for it, and the asylum seekers are sat doing nothing. So it's a waste of everybody's time and money that people have been kept for so long. But while people have to, until the system is speeded up, Labour has actually got a plan to double the number of civil servants so that we at least on this, so at least we get the cases done to get the bill for the hotels down. But whilst they do, I think this is just a daft. And what people like Care for Calais do is they bring into disrepute a kind of sensible critique of the asylum system. So it's annoying for those of us, you know, who are critical of how the government handle things. They just distract.
One of my viewers, Keith, he says, has anyone actually spent any time looking at migrant accommodation in the rest of the world? Why is UK expected to attain far higher standards of accommodation and support for migrants than seemingly anywhere else?
Exactly, he's absolutely right, because in other countries it's basically it's like this. It's former military bases that are used. Or, you know, when Germany took 1 million people in 2015, 2016, they were all in former military bases because there was literally nowhere else to put them.
And Germany, I believe, actually used, you know, tents, marquees, didn't they? And it's like, when we even suggested that, everyone threw up their hands in horror. You racist hellhole, how dare you do that? Europe does that.
Yeah.
David says, it's funny how these military bases were deemed suitable for our heroes, our veterans, etc. But all of a sudden, if you claim to want to put asylum seekers in, all of a sudden they're absolutely not suitable for that. The BB Stockholm, of course, many of you will be familiar with, was used for construction workers. It's all right for those guys, but apparently not.
They were going to use it for students, the BB Stockholm, in Ireland.
Oh, well, students deserve it, though. Come and be fair.
You know what? I mean, you get in trouble these days for saying what I'm about to say, but far be it from me to state an unpopular view. But there is a responsibility that the government do actually have to UK citizens to keep us safe. And many of these people crossing the channel, we have no idea whatsoever who those people are and or what their intentions are. They discard proactively their identification documents. A little bit weird if you ask me, because if you want to get asylum, you'd be trying to speed up your process, not hinder it.
This very week, Germany's made that. So what Germany's introducing new powers that they voted on yesterday, which will enable the police to go into into accommodation that asylum seekers are in to find documents. They're changing the law because that's a problem. So I think sometimes, and in Britain we all say it's the European Convention on Human Rights, it's all somebody else's fault. It's not, because other countries that are signed up to the same rules are a lot firmer and a lot harder. This is choices the British government makes.
Yeah, and do you know what? I also remember a few years ago, and I'm sure it was ISIS were making claims that actually they wanted to use refugee crisis and migrant crisis to help send what they would refer to as kind of ISIS foot soldiers, or whatever the terminology was, over into different countries. So sometimes, I have to say, I do actually want there to be checks, balances and security when people that we do not know who they are being housed. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. You get in touch and tell me your thoughts on all of that.